Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. You might have already heard that Xi Jinping signed an order to promulgate outlines on military operations other than war on Monday. What does this mean? Also, we haven't talked about China's economic situation for a long time. So today I will also talk about this, as well as whether there is a relationship between the CCP's newly issued outlines on military operations other than war and the economy. First of all, a Shen Yun video.
See China before communism. You're not just watching a performance. You're witnessing a culture reborn. Rediscover hope with Shen Yun.
I feel better about the world. I feel uplifted.
It gave me hope that even in places and times of oppression and darkness, so much light can come out of that.
And you go away feeling with a smile in your heart from it.
It's bringing the heart of true China to the public. It was beautiful.
It touches you. It really does. Every American needs to see it.
Has to come. Life-changing.
Make sure you see it. Make sure you see it.
By the way, an audience member once asked me, why did you put people's names and titles on a commercial promotion video? Actually, those people in the video you just saw are real people being interviewed with the real names and titles. What they say is what they really think and feel. They are not paid actors. If you go watch Shen Yun, you may feel more excited than them. Check the show schedule near you and buy tickets from shenyun.show/Jennifer-Zeng to get a discount. Now, let's move to our topic today. On June 13th, Xi Jinping signed an order to promulgate a set of 12 outlines on military operations other than war, and this Xinhua report says that the outlines aim to protect people's lives and property, safeguard national sovereignty, security and development interest, and safeguard world peace and regional stability. The outlines, comprising 59 articles and 6 chapters, serve as a legal base for military operations other than war and will take effect on June 15, 2022. Actually, the Chinese version of the same report has another item: to effectively prevent and resolve risks and challenges and to deal with emergencies. So far, no one has seen what is inside those 59 articles in 6 chapters or any detail of the outline. Anyway, this outline has taken effect today. Today is also Xi Jinping's birthday, and on this important day for Xi Jinping, he made a phone call with Putin to assure the CCP's support on sovereignty and security issues, while Russia expressed its support for CCP's global security initiatives and its opposition to the interference of China's internal affairs, etc. So, 3 things happened today. The CCP's outlines on military operations other than war took effect. Xi Jinping talked to Putin and celebrated his 69th birthday. Did Xi Jinping especially choose his birthday for the other 2 events to show how important they are? And is there a connection between the CCP's military operations other than war and the phone call with Putin? Are there any hidden messages? If yes, what are they? Well, leave us a comment below if you have an answer to these questions. But now let's try to decode the outline from what we can see in this very short, only 76-word Xinhua report. What does to effectively prevent and resolve risks and challenges and to deal with emergencies mean? This means the CCP is anticipating a lot more large-scale social unrest that cannot be dealt with by the police only, so it will use the army to crack down on its own people. Yesterday, someone sent me this file. It is a notice from Yinbing community in Luoyang City, Henan province. It says that because nobody from this community has ever gone to petition, the requirement for high school entrance exam score can be lowered by 3 points for students in this community. So what does this mean? It means that the CCP is so desperate to prevent the public from petitioning that it uses access to education as bait to keep people from petitioning. I remember back in 2001, I was still in China. One day on the bus in Mianyang City, which is my hometown, I overheard someone say to another person, if more than 6 Falun Gong practitioners went to Beijing to petition during the New Year's holiday, the mayor of Mianyang would have to step down. That year, there were exactly 6 Falun Gong practitioners who went to Beijing, so the mayor did not step down. The person on the bus complained, why didn't Falun Gong have one more person go? Obviously, this person wanted to have the mayor removed. So at that stage, the CCP needed to worry about Falun Gong practitioners only. Now, 21 years later, they need to worry about virtually everybody in China. So as long as there is no petitioning from this community, all students can be rewarded. So this is how bad the situation is in China, and this is why the CCP is preparing to use the army to suppress the public. Now, another item, to protect people's lives and property. This means the CCP plans to use the army to take away people's lives and property, or to use the army to crack down on unrest in the name of protecting people's lives and property. And the next item, safeguard national sovereignty. This one easily makes me think that it is about Taiwan, as the CCP always says that Taiwan is part of China and China's sacred sovereignty over Taiwan cannot be challenged, etc. This is Wei Fenghe, China's defense minister. Recently, he made a speech at the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore and vowed that if anyone dares to split Taiwan from China, we will not hesitate to start a war and we will spare no expense. He also said that anyone who tries to make Taiwan independent will meet a dead end. So when the CCP talks about national sovereignty, it means it wants to occupy Taiwan. The next item, safeguard national security and development interest. Several days ago, I translated the speech of a top-level CCP scholar. Let's listen to what she says.
就是在美西方呢，像制裁俄罗斯一样，对中国进行制裁、毁灭性制裁的情况下，我认为我们一定要收复台湾，特别在重构产业链、供应链方面，那一定要把台积电本来属于中国的企业抢到中国手里，因为这个它现在要在加快向美国转移呀，要在美国建立6个厂，所以我们绝不能让它这个转移的这个目标全部实现。第四呢，我们要公开的就是以各种方式呢支持 在这个美国集中打压的中俄这个之间呢，我觉得要公开的合理的尽一切所能的对俄罗斯进行支援。比如说最近中俄的这个联合空演等等我觉得还可以在贸易方面可以做得更多一些，那么使中俄通过“一带一路”和欧亚，就是普京提出来的欧亚大联盟对接形成我们的战略纵深带，形成我们丝绸之路经济带，那么作为我们的能源安全带，那么作为我们的这个今后呢一个重大的安全屏障。
Did you hear what she said? She openly and shamelessly said that the CCP should take back Taiwan and snatch back TSMC to reconstruct the CCP's industrial and supply chain. Please note this scholar Chen Wenning is not a nobody. She has participated in drafting the CCP's most important 5-year plans for many years, and for 10 years, she also wrote the speeches and the government work report for the premier to read at the CCP's most important annual political event, the National People's Congress. So when the CCP talks about safeguarding national security and development interest, it means it needs to figure out ways to deal with international sanctions so that its development won't be affected. If it is affected, the CCP won't hesitate to use the army to remove any obstacles or whoever is in its way. Now, the last item, safeguard world peace and regional stability. When the CCP talks about world peace and regional stability, it means it needs to have dominance in the world and in different geopolitical regions. If the CCP can have its way, that's world peace and regional stability. If not, the CCP must ensure that things in the world must go the CCP's way. So overall, I believe that Xi Jinping's order will be mainly used to target internal problems, including social unrest and coup attempts from other CCP factions. But it can also be used as a legal basis when the CCP needs to attack Taiwan or other countries. Now, let's move to another topic today, the Chinese economy. You might have heard that Chinese Premier Li Keqiang hosted an unprecedented meeting on May 25th to talk about economic problems in China. As many as 100,000 CCP officials were required to attend that meeting either on-site or through a live TV broadcast. In this meeting, Li Keqiang warned that since March, China's economic indicators have been significantly worse, even worse than in 2020, when the economy was badly impacted by the outbreak. The central government's fiscal revenue fell 5.9% in April, and the local government's fiscal revenue fell even faster by 6.6%. And in the first quarter of this year, only 4 provinces and cities, including Shanxi, Fujian, Shanghai, and Inner Mongolia, has a surplus in fiscal revenue. All other provinces are in deficit. Li Keqiang also said to the 100,000 local officials, "I'm here to give you a bottom line. Unless there is another major natural disaster, there is a general reserve. For all other spendings, you are on your own." He basically said that the central government wouldn't be able to support local government anymore. So how bad is the Chinese economy exactly? As the CCP's official GDP numbers are never to be trusted, let's check some individual figures. Look at this picture. See the numbers under the names of the cities on the map. These are how much the April fiscal revenue of several big cities has dropped from the same period of last year. You can see that all the big cities near Shanghai, which is at the right top of this map, are greatly impacted by Shanghai's lockdown. Nanjing's revenue dropped 54.9%, Suzhou 49.6%, Hangzhou 37%, Ningbo 36.1%. Then move to other big cities on the map. Wuhan's revenue dropped nearly 30%, Chongqing 35%, Guangzhou 12.76%, and Shenzhen 44%. These are the figures of some other provinces. Look at the last column. These figures represent how much the fiscal revenues of these provinces dropped in March. You can see in the top row, that is the number for Gansu province. The revenue dropped 57.4%. The third row from the bottom is the number for Jilin province. It dropped as much as 74.4%. And these are the figures for the top 9 cities in terms of physical revenue. You can see the top 1 city is Shenzhen. Just look at the last column. These are how much this year's revenue has dropped from the same period of last year. See the percentage? The biggest drop is 51.29%. That is in Tianjin City, and the smallest is 13.88%. That is in Guangzhou City. So these are the numbers for the top 9 cities in China. And these are the numbers for some much smaller cities, including Zhongshan City, Huizhou City, and Wenzhou City, Wuhu City. Again, look at the last column. They all dropped, ranging from 74.6% to 19.9%. So another alarming figure is the unemployment ratio. According to the CCP's own number, the unemployment rate for youths aged from 16 to 24 was as high as 18% in April. This year, there will be 10.76 million fresh graduates in China. But according to a survey done by the Employment Research Institute of Renmin University of China, only about 47% of fresh graduates have found a job. This is to say more than half of the graduates will become unemployed upon graduation. So more than 5 million youths will be jobless. Another huge problem is bank runs. Look at this picture. These are people in Shanghai waiting outside a bank. Banks in Shanghai have restricted withdrawals. In Henan province, several small township banks have frozen funds, and depositors had to travel to Henan's capital city, Zhengzhou, to protest. Let's watch a video. So they are basically shouting, return my deposit. The next video shows depositors surrounded by police officers when they protest in the square.
谁是犯罪分子啊？受害者有罪论啊！公平！来看一下警察啊，特警、武警，指导说没用，就是两个字：还钱。
So they're also shouting, we want to withdraw our money. So those protests happened in late May, and the latest news is the protest was stopped by their health codes. This Reuters report says that a protest planned by hundreds of bank depositors in central China seeking access to their frozen funds has been thwarted because the authorities have turned their health code app red. The report says that at least 178 million of US dollars of deposits were frozen by the banks. And now health code is used to stop people from seeking access to their frozen funds. Another serious problem is the real estate market. This report says that the sales volume of the top 100 real estate developers in China dropped as much as nearly 60% in May. So that's 60%. We've already said many times before that more than 40% of a local government revenue comes from selling land use rights, and 70% of Chinese people's wealth is tied to their houses. Some say this percentage is as high as 90%. So imagine if the real estate market collapses, what will that mean to hundreds of millions in China? In the past, the CCP had always tried to control and adjust the real estate market with its policies. When the market was too hot, it introduced some policies to cool it down. When the market was too low, it introduces policies to stimulate it. But this time, the CCP has already issued many stimulating policies without being able to bring a market recovery. For me, with all sorts of problems happening together in China, the Chinese society feels like a high-pressure cooker that can explode at any time. Many people are debating whether the CCP will attack Taiwan soon. My point is, the worse the situation in China is, the more likely that Xi Jinping will take the risk. Creating an external enemy is always a solution to solve internal crises for dictators. So let's hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. And this critical time, truth is so important. So please do help me spread it by sharing my channel and videos as widely as you can. Also, if you could, please consider going to my website at jenniferzengblog.com, signing up for a membership or making a donation to support my truth-telling efforts. Thank you. See you next time.